Hey guys, welcome to another episode of El Jefe Shop Shop. This week we're going to do a bit of a 2022 recap and a 2023 goals and plans. So it's going to be a pretty heavy talking video, but let's get into it. Alright, so we started off the year trying to get the wagon done. That turned into a whole lot of bodywork and it didn't really get as far as I was hoping. So this whole year I've been trying to just get something done for myself to drive and enjoy and actually have a car to show all of my hard work and not just be building cars all the time. So we started off with the K16 wagon. Unfortunately that was a bit more work than I could do. A bit more skill-based panel beating and all that sort of stuff, welding in some new rust repairs and all that crap. So unfortunately that took about 6 months, but we did get a fair way through it, so that'll be back again at some point and we'll get back into it. But then we moved on to the Toyo Ace, which I got very close to finishing, and then the wedding car had to happen. So then the wedding car happened. So the K10 happened after the Toyo Ace. Didn't quite get the Toyo Ace done, but we got the K10 pretty much finished. It's behind me, about 90% done at the moment. So the K10 took about 3 months and we got it pretty close to finished. So I'm pretty happy with this thing. It looks really good and it's driving really well so far. So hopefully it all continues working like that, and we've got the wedding in a few days and then we can get on to some other stuff. So that's a pretty quick recap on 2022, but what's the plan for next year, you might ask? So let me show you. Alright, so 2023 is going to start off with all of this stuff getting organised. So I am so sick of looking for parts and it's being crap everywhere. So what I want to do is just sort out all these parts, work out what I'm doing with everything, have a bit of reorganise in the shed, put the bench over here, put the work toolboxes over here, just reshuffle all of this. I just want to shuffle everything around, make it all nice. So that should take me quite a while, but we'll get that done. And then we'll move on to the next thing. So another thing that I'd like to do this year is actually get this gravel section done, try and get the fence up, and then get all this nice and hard and compact, get the fence up, get a gate up, and just get it all sort of hidden from the backyard and just get it all nice and usable. So that's going to be another pretty big job. It shouldn't really take much time, but it's going to cost a bit of money and it's going to be a lot of effort. So that's another job. Then this old Leyland. I really like this thing. Super cool. It does take up a lot of room at the moment though. So what I want to do is cut this thing in half. I want to use the cab for the Isuzu project shortly, maybe next year, maybe the year after. So what I'm going to do is cut this thing up. But before I do that, I want to try and just get it to run and drive. So running should be reasonably easy, hopefully. And then driving, look, I'm going to call it a win if we get onto the grass. So it doesn't need to go far. I'd just like to move under its own power again, and then I'm going to cut the back off and make this thing into a bit of a like caster wheels on the back and just a bit of a, I don't know, smaller project, and just push it aside. And then we'll get rid of all of this stuff, make some nice benches down the side for the steel, and then get the K25 in here just tucked away, car cover on, and all the bits for the K25 in here with it. That gives me a nice big empty section in the shed, and then I'll have a bit more room in the shed to do all the other projects, and then everything will be nice and safely stored away. So all of this is going to get all shuffled, all the stuff at the back is going to get shuffled. The 25, which is behind this door, is going to get shuffled into here, and all the parts and everything all into here. Then Dad's boat. So I said I wouldn't show this in another episode, which I probably won't, but we've still got to work on this thing. He wants to do a few big trips this year. So I'm hoping we can get that done in the first couple of weeks of January, get it all nice and ready for his boating expeditions, shall we call them. So that brings me on to this shed here. So this is what I call the little shed. Has the Crown and the Sior in it. So Emily's Daihatsu Sior and my Toyota Crown. So what the plan is I'd like to put a door where that personal access door is, put a door in there, put the Crown in long ways against the shed, and then we can use the front of the shed for the Sior and the K10. So just want to clean all of the parts out of this thing. It's full of stuff. Just want to get all of that out, put it all just on the floor in there, and just reshuffle this, get all the lights and all the power points wired, and just get this shed nice and usable as a carport and a garage, and then get the crown in the back with all of the parts of the crown just stashed away and stashed up the back, and then we can use it as a actual carport. So that'd be really nice to not have to try and negate the backyard and drive over the lawn and all that sort of stuff when that thing's done, when we're trying to drive some nice cars. So then that brings me to the new daily. So this Falcon still is pretty untested. It does run, it does drive, it needs a bit of transit oil or something, but this is going to be the daily, so we'll probably spend a bit of time maybe just cleaning it up, giving it a polish, maybe some new wheels, see how we go, and just get this thing on the road and get it all usable. That'll be in the next couple of weeks because I need to use this very soon because the truck runs out of rego in a few days. So then on to the major car projects. So once I've done a bit of yard stuff, a bit of cleaning up, a bit of organising, I want to get this thing into the shed and start getting the van decked out, get the turbo fixed and get this thing back on the road. So I'd like to be able to do some adventures this year, we'll see how we go. But that's a pretty short-term project, but I just need to get stuck into it. So that's one of the 3 short projects that I want to try and do early this year. Number 2 is the Toyo Ace. So this thing was very close to running a couple months ago, and then I had to stop and do the K10. So this thing needs a cooling system, it needs an exhaust, and I need to finish up the fuel system and a little bit of wiring and get this thing just all around just finished and buttoned up. So I'm going to chuck this in the shed as well, get stuck into this, and then on to project number 3, which is behind this door. So if you've been following the channel for a long time, you would know all about this Seor. So we did a whole bunch of work on this thing a while back now. So this is Emily's car, my girlfriend. So she's pretty keen to get back into this thing. So we did a 4-cylinder swap and we did a turbo swap from the crown. So I want to try and get the wiring done and the exhaust done, intercooler pipes, all that sort of stuff, and just get this thing finished off. So it's all been very close for quite a while. We just sort of haven't had the time or the money to throw at this thing. But soon we should have both of those things and we'll try and get this thing finished off. So this is project number 3. So that will probably take me a good 6 months to get those 3 cars done and get this shed all cleaned out of all the stuff, get all the lights wired up, get all the power points lighted up. Fair bit of stuff to do, a lot of moving things around and sorting stuff out, but we should be pretty good when we get all this sort of stuff under control. So once we have those 3 projects done, I'd like to get some stuff done on the truck. So you might be thinking, Jeff, it works, it's perfectly good. Why are you going to pull it apart? Because that's what I do. I'm an idiot. So the plan is I want to take this tray off. I've got the new service box to go on the back. So I'd like to put the service box on the back, get it all widened up. Need to add about 6 inches to the middle, and then get the new fuel tank in, get all of that sort of stuff all under control. And then I might try and get this cab off and start getting the new cab on. This is going to be a very long-term project, but I'm hoping that we can get a good start on it this year and get it under control. So the shed will be pretty empty. K25 will be out of there, the K10 will be in the other shed. Ronnie's going to take his car at some point. So I'll have all 3 bays to just get it stuck into this thing and blow it apart in the shed. So for those of you who don't know, this is a 2007 Isuzu NPR. So it has a 5.2 litre 4-cylinder turbo diesel, and I'm going to put that silly Leyland cab on it with a service box and make it just the ultimate tow rig and hopefully highway cruiser. So we'll get into this at a later date. It'll probably be 6 to 9 months from now, but I really want to get stuck into this thing and I really want to start this project because I'm super excited for it. As for the yard and the house, I'm going to try and organise this lawn. I'm going to get a fence up, get some driveway done. There's a whole bunch of money to spend on just the yard basically, and then I would like to try and clean up the house and do a few more things there as well. Unfortunately this house probably needs to get knocked over at some point, so I'm trying not to spend too much money and time on the house itself, but hopefully with all the yard stuff that I want to do, there won't be anything I have to redo out the back. You can just knock the house down and deal with that at a later date. So a lot of stuff ahead, and I hope that sounds interesting to you guys. And if it does, please subscribe, and we'll see you over the next year, and I'll hopefully get all those things that I said finished off and done. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully this is a pretty quick video just to give you a bit of an update of the plans for the year. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week.